Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Bring the world down!
Welcome to Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. Tim, Tom. This is the ultimate show for sports entertainment and world professional wrestling. Learn the ins, outs, storylines, talent on each platform. Let Me Tell You Something, Brother airs every second and fourth Tuesday of each month right here, 21/6 at 7:15 p.m. Of course, we've got to thank Tom's Productions for being a huge supporter, and of course, the Santos Agency Health Markets over on Green Street. Absolutely fantastic. Today, I don't know, boy, it's the first time we've had you back in studio. You guys have been, you've been there, he's been here, you've been here, he's been there. And of course, special guests in studio. Let's throw this up there. Of course, a few of the rejects from the Reject Rundown. Going to be a new show right here at 21/6 at. We've had them on before. Got them live in studio. Guys, welcome in.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm happy we have some guests because me and Tom haven't sat down, like we haven't done this, and we were just talking. It's been probably 6 weeks now because I was here on my own, and then I was on vacation, so he was here on his own.
Talk to my wrestling buddies, you know, it's like trying to do,
And we do things in the community here, so I've been a little disconnected, participating, volunteering with some other stuff as well. But in the meantime, since our last show, we've had AEW Blood and Guts happen.
Right.
And we had Money in the Bank happen, obviously, and then obviously a couple Raws, a couple SmackDowns, Dynamites, Rampage,
Forbidden Door.
I don't, you know what? Well,
we weren't here. We weren't here
Oh, okay.
Together with each other.
Yeah, I took the opportunity to not talk about AEW whatsoever when it was just me.
You know, he's a liar because you know what? I was coaching my son's game. I'm sitting at the third baseline. I got my phone out, listening to the show. I'm like, I've never heard Tim talk so much about AEW in my life. I just can't come on a show anymore.
Well, I felt like we were missing a dynamic, you know. So I'm like, well, I gotta introduce. This is what I think Tom would say.
That's pretty much accurate, right there.
Pretty accurate. But anyway, so I guess we can go back to Forbidden Door. I didn't watch it. I think that's probably where we left off.
That's kind of where we had our previous show, and I think it was right before. I don't know if it was right before that, and in between that and Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah, sure. Was Moxley crowned interim champion at Forbidden Door? Right, he beat one of the guys from
New Japan. Right?
Yeah, and what else happened?
I mean that Adam Cole got hurt. Yeah, I mean it's like another AEW injury. It's a summer of injuries for both.
Yeah, honestly, really is.
It's
unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that's going on. I was actually at the event.
Okay. Oh, you want to talk? Yeah, talk about it.
Cool. Tell us about it.
It was great, man. When Claudio came out, basically like the place became glued. It's funny because we were in nosebleeds. We got like last minute tickets. Seat Geek, I appreciate you guys. It was $2 for the tickets. So
you got them for $2?
Straight up, dude.
Dang.
Less than $10 for 4 tickets was like less than 40. I was like, dude, yeah, I'm gonna take it.
I wanted to go, and then I saw like, okay, Bryan Danielson's not doing it right now, and you have CM Punk out, and it's like kind of like the guys I want to watch and see make entrances. Come in Chicago where they made their debuts, and it was just like, I don't know if I want to buy this now. I don't even know if I want to drive to Chicago and see this show.
Yeah, so it's messed up. As much as I hate, like, all right, you know, I don't hate's a strong word. So I'm a WWE guy. He's the AEW guy, but I still get the pay-per-views and tune in because I don't want to be like left out of what cool's going to happen, if anything. Right. You know, I know whenever someone comes from, at least from WWE to AEW, there's always a big pop. Like regardless of what their history is in WWE, Sheamus, great wrestler, but only so many Superman like uppercuts or whatever he does. And
it's a Cesaro.
The Cesaro swing. And where I feel like they fall short is the guys come and like, it's always like, okay, now they can kind of take their own reins and they can really perform and really do what WWE was holding them back from doing. Exactly. And then they do the exact same thing that they did in WWE. All they do is got another name.
There's very few of them that end up being like that. I was just talking to Sal, well, SG3 about the CM Punk thing. Like me seeing, CM Punk came to AEW, it was a big old pop. It was fantastic, great, all that kinds of stuff. But it just feels like ever since he's been in there, it's like hasn't been as much as greatness that was supposed to be.
Yeah,
like it seems very quiet and dim. You know, he barely just got the title, and then now he has to relinquish it and stuff like that. But it just didn't feel like it should have been, knowing that he was coming back to AEW. So it was a lot of that stuff.
Well, that was like the AEW issue where like when he came, Bryan Danielson came, and Adam Cole all on pretty much the same weekend.
Ruby Soho came in that same one too.
Even Ruby Soho, like her little pop right now, it's not really the same as well either. Like it kind of dimmed down a little bit. She just, I feel like it's in the mix of the mid card, and she's just.
I still got that pay-per-view on my DVR when CM Punk's first match back, and then
I mean the crowd's electrifying.
And I'm like,
it's Money in Bank
like me giving him a shot, right? I'm like, okay, all right, so let's see what CM Punk's done after 7 years away or 9 years away, however long he was. I'm excited to see him because I'm like, WWE guy. I don't care what he says about him. Like his last job was talking about WWE on Fox,
right?
So like, talk shit about him all you want, like, come on, bro.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I want to see him come back, and then I knew there was going to be people showing up because at that time there was like a handful of releases, and we knew Adam Cole had it signed. Like we weren't really sure what was going to happen. I actually liked Ruby Riott. I thought she deserved more.
Yeah, she did.
You know what I'm saying? And then she kind of was just like in WWE. Well, the type of
she wasn't the Vince McMahon girl,
right?
Thank you.
She don't fit the mold of the
exactly.
The blonde blue eye, and
which is ridiculous because I mean you look at her in ring status and you see what she brings to the table on the ring, especially in the square circle in a sense. But it's like you bring the pop, you bring the crowd into what you're doing inside the ring, like the old school type of wrestlers used to do. And it's like that's exactly what you need.
They're connected to you,
big time. Like you're creating a story, like they always say, like especially with Bret Hart's famous things. Like I'm going to create a story inside the
ring, right?
And then go from there, so that way it brings in the crowd. That's what brings in the money. That's what brings it in because it brings up the merchandise and stuff. You want to be that person. So, but
and dude, they had me for that pay-per-view because I was like, wow. That was the first time I actually saw the Young Bucks perform, and they went against Luchasaurus.
No, it's the Lucha Bros.
Before he got hurt.
In the steel cage, right?
It was great though, man. That match was fantastic.
That match was awesome. Like, man, okay. I'm like, okay, like I get it.
And then on the shoes. Can we talk about that?
That was awesome. Like, this is some stuff I never seen before. It was spot fest. Every move is like calculated. They knew what they were gonna do, but like that was exciting to see like that stuff at that level. And then Kenny Omega, like I don't really know anything about him, and I saw him come out at the end, and then like the trickery they pulled with Adam Cole, like Adam Cole, boom, fucking place explodes. He comes out like they're gonna fight, don't fight, and then Daniel Bryan comes out, Bryan Danielson, whatever. I'm like, plus Ruby Soho early. I'm like, all right, they're on to something.
Exactly.
But then that became Tony Khan's thing of like every Wednesday, here's your new signing, and
who's all elite now, and then so when you come with Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, even Ruby Soho to an extent, you got CM Punk back after years of not even wrestling, thinking he's never even going to come back to wrestling, period. Like that's WWW. Like they're just winning.
Yeah.
But then like
they shovel you down their throat.
Like everybody who leaves the WWE, that's like worth even a little bit. It's like such a big deal. Like it just didn't seem like it. And honestly, that's kind of where I'm at with Cesaro. It's like, I don't know, like he was okay, but I've never watched a pay-per-view or a WWE show saying, man, I can't wait to see Cesaro.
See, that's where I disagree with you, Tim, because I'm a Cesaro guy. I like Bryan Danielson. I like that kind of style. And I mean, he teamed up with Tyson Kidd for a while. And I mean, I got ticked off with WWE. Like I was happy and excited when they paired him up with Paul Heyman. And then they're going to do this feud with Brock Lesnar, and then it just dropped, gone. Like afterthought, I'm like, what are you doing? You're building up this guy, and then you
just drop him.
And he was over with
talk, man. He can't talk.
That's what I'm saying. You paired him up with Heyman.
He's got no personality, and then you do the same moveset. I mean, now look, all of
them do the same.
They all got the five
moves of doom.
But they're boring though. They're boring. I don't like the uppercuts with the forearms. I think are BS. I don't care who's doing them. And that's like one of your major moves. And
it's like Soda Popinski from Punch Out.
But you do it like 40 times. It is, but you know what? Video games cooler than when you see it in real life.
All right.
You know, so I just think that's boring. And the Cesaro swing, I think, is just lame. And I know, like, people,
I like this. Cesaro
Chris
it's very old school.
Chris Jericho let him do it on top of the cage. Oh my God, I'm glad he didn't slip. And then
it's the creativity.
He's never dropped anybody.
It's the creativity.
That move's so safe. I was like, there's nothing.
I love doing that move with my kids. Have you ever done it with your kids? I mean, it's a fun move. Yeah, you do the swing.
I more or less grab both hands, just chuck them out.
Daddy, can we do a swing, Daddy?
Occasionally, my wife would be like, "Do you think that hurts?" Like, let me show you.
Yes.
Anyways, like the full Nelson was the last time. My wife Sally, she watches wrestling. She's like, "What do you?" I think it was the hurt lock, right?
That's
what, Bobby Lashley calls it. I was like, "Well, let me show you real quick." And she, like 1 second, she's like tapping. I'm like, "Yeah, that's
mine
right.
was the figure four. The
figure four.
Yeah.
She's did the figure four on your
wife?
Yes,
I did. Yes, I did. I had to. I had to prove a point.
Oh, yeah.
She was looking at me like as if those are not real. Like, no, that one is real.
Right.
Like, if you're really tucking in real good, that one could really hurt.
Any leg pressure on that ankle, that's where it hurts.
It's gonna crack, and especially if like you put a little bit more to it. So sure enough, I'm like, let me try. I'm like, don't kick me. I'm like, you kick me, I'm just gonna swing you out of here now. So sure enough, put it in. No more than like a second after I locked it in, she's like, I'm tapping, like I'm on out. Like then you get the little silent treatment afterwards, like you knew it was gonna hurt. I'm like, all right.
And that's what I do like with my kids all the time. It's like I push them to the limit of it. Like I know the extent where I can go with a sharpshooter, the Texas Cloverleaf. Yeah, I do put all my kids all power bombs, all that stuff. So I know where the limit is.
Right there. They got it on me.
Exactly. Like you kind of have to do that with you.
As you just go a little bit more. Like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? No, Dad. And they're laughing a little bit. It's like, okay, you're a little more pain. And they're like, okay, now I'm done.
So Mama Bear coming in.
When I was a kid, one of my friends was like, let's do the shake, rattle, and roll, the swing and net breaker. And
honky tonk, man.
Yeah, he played like I broke his neck. I was like freaking out, and he was just laying there like, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I really hurt him. He like played it up for like 20-30 minutes, just like laying there. I'm like freaking out as like an 11 to 12-year-old kid or whatever, like, oh my God, I broke your neck. I'm so sorry, like not knowing what to do, whatever. But
like crying, like, no, why?
That brings up a memory.
I'm not gonna tell my mom.
Thanksgiving on my dad's side, like my cousins were about the same age, and we'd always wrestle each other. And my one cousin Matt, he's like a year older than me, did a move to me, and I acted like he hurt me. And this is around Thanksgiving, so we laughed. And on Christmas, I showed up with a neck brace. So I let this thing go for like a full month. So and he's like worried about it. He's like, did I really hurt him on Thanksgiving? And he's like, my dad's like, Tom, you gotta stop. You gotta like say the joke or whatever. It's like he's really bothered by it. Like you hurt. He's upset. I'm like, not yet, Dad, not yet. So like as soon as he lined up to get his food, I took off the neck brace and just jumped him. My aunt wasn't too happy about that. But.
So back to the Forbidden Door. I don't know. Like I get the concept. It's cool. I don't know anything about the Japan wrestlers though.
Me neither.
Japan. So I'm like, I can't get excited about it. I wanted to see Will Ospreay. Because I like
heard
him and Seth like go at each other a lot, like on social media. And they had a great him and what's his name?
Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy. I like Orange Cassidy. I don't know. I like
he's got his unique style.
Slot style.
Yeah,
slot style.
It takes some getting used to.
Right.
It's almost like a Danhausen kind of thing.
I like his chill. I like his chill mode. Yeah.
Right.
So they had a great match. 4.75 stars, I guess, if you care about
Meltzer
that kind of
rating.
But anyways, I couldn't get excited beyond that though. I just don't know anything about those guys. So
I mean, so me being personally there, I could tell you that it was a great show. Like it was, but you could kind of feel like the crowd really wasn't there too.
Sure.
Especially because nosebleeds, you're supposed to feel like the noise come up.
Right.
And there was sometimes where the noise would come up, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like it's a dull roar. All right, cool. No energy really. Like what I said, when Cesaro came on, everybody went crazy. For my role, I was the only one that stood up. I'm like, really? Like no one else is excited for this guy?
That wasn't the Cesaro section.
Well,
straight up.
It's Claudio's
down
section.
that way. It's more down
Claudio's section.
There was actually people like with signs there that were like Claudio's section. I'm like, I should have said there. All right.
That's right, man. Those seats are taken.
But wasn't that show like 6 hours long though too?
it wasn't. You know what? It wasn't like that long because we got there at 6 and the show hadn't started.
Okay.
They did 2 pre-show or pre-matches.
Mm.
They were okay. They were so good. They were okay. But like the thing I think that most people just didn't like, especially like the diehard fans who follow the New Japan, the AEWs, the TNAs, the Ring of Honors, all and WWEs and all those, is that they made New Japan look so weak.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, there was not a single win really for New Japan unless they were tied to an AEW person. It was like you didn't have like that. All right, cool. Like he actually said it reminded him of the WWE WCW wars.
Whereas basically W was just taking over and winning. And
well, even like when they took WCW talent over before, it was like they'd bury him right away. If they were not a WWE guy before, they were buried
big time. Like you couldn't have like a pop or one or two guys just win one. I mean, like it's not bad.
Look what they did with Sting.
Big. Oh, Jesus Christ! Don't get me started. That was by far the worst thing I ever saw in my life. I felt so bad for Sting. Like I wanted more.
The whole Forbidden Door concept in like WrestleMania, we talked about this before. It was like I think it would be cool to have all of the promotions on one card. But the problem is, like you just said,
who wants to win?
Who's going
to book it? Who's going to give up?
At the same time, look,
actually have a world champion title at this event that can go from
from promotion to promotion.
I mean, do you do like something like Major League Baseball, where all of a sudden you have these different leagues?
I mean, it's not absurd because there's
and actually
they already
trade contracts.
They do it. I mean, FTR's got like 3 different promotions, tag team.
They have the
open.
open.
Right now.
I mean, if you talk to the wrestlers themselves, one of them would be like, I'm okay losing. That's fine with me. But if you talk to the promoter in a sense, it's like, no, we're gonna look like this. Like, no, if you actually have a particular wrestler that puts on a good show, like if you pick Seth, and if he says I'll lose, he's gonna give you 110% in the match. It's gonna look beautiful.
They could always
probably injure your opponent too.
They could do
exactly.
They could do count out finishes and disqualification, time limit and stuff like that, and get everyone out there.
And people get agitated for that too. It kind of draws them in more. Like,
and not every match needs to be like that. So you could have your own AEW match, your own WWE match,
and you can also have the turn where
like
someone's leaving their contract for this other promotion.
Sure, and they go from there. But see, I don't know. We should be running our own.
See, there you go. That's the thing. I think we're a little too smart for that. Those round tables.
Take over. Create your
control your narrative.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, we can work with them.
No, I don't want to. That'll be all you.
So then we went from Forbidden Door and we went to
Money in a Bank.
Was it? Money in the Bank was next. Well, no, Blood and Guts was first.
It was Blood and Guts. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, now I know it was just on TV, and all I watched was the Blood and Guts match. And we talked a little bit, and my understanding is one of the kind of main guys that was supposed to drive a lot of the match got hurt right away. Maybe I don't know if did you watch that match?
I watched the match.
Someone like their knee buckled or something like that right away, and then that's when kind of things fell off the rails where you could see them talking to each other. There was a lot of stalling, and it just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it was just my own perception of the match. I don't know.
Because I actually enjoyed it because of something
Santana.
different.
Someone, I think his name is Santana. He was with, I think, Jericho. And he was
on the outside.
He was supposed to do a lot of spots. And apparently because he hurt himself right away, then they kind of lost control because no one really knew what to do next. And like the finish was kind of whack too.
Well, the finish was to set up the Kingston Claudio feud from years prior.
Yeah,
like they didn't like each other, and Claudio gets the win while Kingston was having Jericho tap.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Did
you guys watch it?
No, I
enjoyed the match because it was like War Games in a way. And it's something different.
Exact same thing as War Games. Isn't there the time going in there? Minus
2 reigns, 3 reigns,
minus just the
barbed wire bats and stuff.
I mean, barbed wire bats, and I think Moxley like had some pencils and was digging at some
forks and stuff.
So it's basically like blood just for the sake of having blood because the match is called Blood and Guts.
Gotcha.
Which is what AEW is kind of getting some slander for. Is like, okay, guys, like every main match does not need to have someone's face dripping.
Well, their next match on Wednesday is going to be a shark cage match for Shark Week.
All right. And, I mean, you got to be careful with that stuff. It can't be like WCW and just creating some weird.
Well, that's what I'm afraid with AEW.
ECW.
ECW did it, and then WCW tried doing it. Like I think things on a pole matches,
That was WCW. They had like Viagra on the pole or something like that.
It's TNA.
Like, come on.
You know who it's not? It's not WWE.
Well, they
You know what,
steal
though?
from
They
other
had a couple
promotions.
matches.
They
They had
steal.
a couple matches all like that.
You know, I
Don't
mean,
forget what the guitar and the pole match. You know,
I'm
don't forget
surprised.
that one.
I'm surprised
but-
Vince doesn't have an idea. Let's put 4 rings together, brother. We're gonna put this to the side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then Brock is gonna come in and he's gonna demolish everybody and just.
It's interesting that they never adopted that. They did in NXT. They put the war games.
Right.
obviously,
They do a lot of the
down
WCW
pay-per-view.
stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah, but WWE is just like,
Nah,
And I
that
wish
was
they
your
would,
guys'
like-
stuff.
Yeah.
Do Halloween Havoc. You don't have
Mhm.
anything in
That
October.
will look so beautiful.
They do it for NXT, don't they?
Well, yeah, they do it for NXT, but like actually do it for your.
If you were to do it for the
October
upper card and take away TLC or take away
Right,
those
yeah.
redunculous type of gimmick
Hell in a
ones,
Cell or whatever,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. If you put those
Yeah.
and put that in there, that will look so beautiful. They need
Yeah.
to get back to that.
4th of July, Great
No,
American
it would-
Bash,
it would
that
make
kind of
sense.
stuff.
I missed
Exactly.
that job.
It would make sense for,
Goodness.
to do the Hell in a Cell match at Halloween Havoc,
Right.
You know,
Yes.
Have it on the wheel, spin it on the
Yeah.
wheel.
Or put the Elimination Chamber on the Halloween Havoc in a sense,
right.
but go back to the old school Elimination Chamber. Don't give me this new one that they got right now where everything's all padded up and now like, no one can get hurt now. Like give me the old school one.
And I love like Money in Bank at WrestleMania.
Yes.
that
Yeah.
was a
Go
great
back.
time.
Don't have it as its own pay per view. Go back to having it as like a
Yes.
startup match in WrestleMania. Is he going to cash in that night?
Or
Yeah.
you're gonna save it up in
Right.
there because everyone's gonna be on the edge of the seats like how they did with Seth. Like, do we know or do we know
Right.
for sure or not?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen like that. So
the pay-per-view itself, Money in the Bank, though, it was a good pay-per-view. WWE's they've been hitting it.
Well, that's
on
where
the
they give the
pay-per-views.
crowd. They gave you Liv
Yep.
because they knew you were going to be pissed off with Theory.
yes, yes. So I
You know
was
what,
definitely pissed off with Theory,
I
even
like
though
it.
it was.
I was pissed as soon as like I heard his music. I'm not even watching this because you know he's going to win.
Well,
yes.
right. So
they're pushing them
they
forward.
don't like interject somebody and then have them lose the match. You know, it's like a given as soon as it's like, oh well. He's
But
gonna
my
win.
only question was because of the fact that what was going on with everything's going on with Vince at this time right now
Right.
outside of WWE.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, fine. Like now that he's not in the picture, are we going to see Steph and Triple H actually say, let's give Theory like the push that Vince is wanting? But then we realize like he still has creative control.
Mhm.
So of course he's going to want that push. Like no
Sure.
wonder they stuck with that idea. Like not yet. He's not ready yet. Like let him do the whole beginning of United States title. Let him fight for that. Let him build up for that. Then let him build up for the IC title. And then finally say, okay, we'll see how he did pretty well last two. Now push him in.
Yeah. Dude,
So-
he's becoming champion at SummerSlam.
Oh, shit.
He's gonna cash in on one of them.
Oh yeah,
Somewhere.
last man standing. It's all set up for him. Like
It's
they're
set
both
up-
knocked
it's set up for
down.
them just to
Yes.
beat the crap out of each other, and then his music's gonna hit.
He's gonna
And
pull.
he's probably gonna have the United States Championship back on him too. He's
Oh,
gonna be like Seth Rollins.
no,
Seth Rollins carried both too. That's-
He's gonna have 3 titles on
I
him.
really hope
It's
not.
it,
but I
they're-
mean,
they're setting it up. Like
but-
why give?
but
why
that
give him
sounds
the
like a
rematch?
Vince thing. That sounds
Yeah.
straight up like a Vince thing, and knowing he still if he
Well,
has
it's looked like
control,
they were trying to
fine.
set up the whole Theory Cena thing, but now Cena's distancing himself because of the whole Vince stuff. And
But then why do they
it's
have
like-
this whole Theory and Dolph now? Like, when Dolph just came
Well,
out.
so that's the
That's a
not-
distraction.
That's
That's
not
a
left
distraction
field
from-
thing right there.
That's
Like,
if
who
you think
knows?
of,
See, man.
that's a distraction because at the end you're gonna look at it. All right, cool. So because he's not gonna face Cena, he's
yeah.
gonna face Ziggler. So Ziggler is gonna win the match at SummerSlam,
Uh-huh.
and then after that it's gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. Now the fact that Ziggler won, so what's gonna happen? These two are gonna beat the living hell out of
So
each
they're
other.
Trying to bamboozle.
And then out of the blue, oh, okay, cool. When Roman wins,
Yeah.
that's when Theory's gonna come out.
Yeah, you know, Ziggler, he might just be like a decoy right now because everyone kind of seems to be piecing it all together.
yeah.
No one saw
The him
Ziggler
coming
coming,
in.
out of nowhere, and
Thanks.
then super kick in theory when you would assume him to be a heel
Yes.
and not a baby face. So he just
Oh, it
kinda
could be like the Big Show
it-
where he turns
yeah,
3
he
times
just
in
threw
the
a
night.
he threw a curveball out there just because everything is just
Gets you
kinda-
something talking. And
Yeah,
It's like we're already seeing your plan, master plan, man. Like we already seen it before it even happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, don't do that. And
Yeah.
then sure enough, yeah, you're right. Those
I
are-
thought it was gonna be Finn Balor. That's why I thought it was gonna be the surprise entrant. I was like, you know what? It's
Oh,
the
on Money in
perfect
the
time.
Bank?
Yeah,
true.
that was gonna be the perfect time. I'm
Right.
like, look, to establish a dominance of,
Judge-
the faction,
Judgment
yeah.
There
Day.
you go.
yeah.
Like, let this be it. You have Finn Balor come out,
Right.
he cash it. You know, he wins the briefcase. Basically, no one's expecting him to come out. No one's
True.
expecting like the surprise entrant at this point because Madcap Moss had filled in that spot. So I was
Right.
like, cool, dude, bring in Finn Balor. You establish that dominance in the faction, and you have like I guess you could say like the
credibility or something.
yeah, credibility, but also like the not just credibility, but also like the establishment of like this is how we're gonna get everything.
Right.
So you give them that, and then it's like DX back in the '90s.
Mhm.
So when they had the title, like I'm basing every single
Right.
title under them.
Right.
That's how you
Well, it's like
started.
the bloodline right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So speaking of
Good.
what you call it,
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, like
it's lost its touch.
it has,
touch.
man.
They
And you know
screwed
what?
up with Edge.
They screwed up with
Yes.
Edge. Look, I love Finn Balor. I like
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley, and I think losing her too, like
That
really
injury
just
just-
kind of like
Deflated.
yeah, man. They were
Yes.
on main event like a couple
Right.
weeks ago. Like they just like dropped down the card a
Big
lot.
time.
And then Damian Priest, I just think he's corny. I don't know. I don't buy what he's saying. And when Finn Balor
Put him back
talks,
with
because
Bad
it was
Bunny.
like Irish
Exactly.
accent, I don't know. It's just kind of like
Throws it
can't
off to
take
the
him
side.
Listen, that's what I was like
Yeah.
excited when they put Baylor with AJ. It's like, okay, you get the ball club kind
Yeah.
of stuff going on. Like
Mhm.
you can work something there. Get like one of the girls and some younger talent with
Yep.
them.
Mhm.
And then keep Edge with Priest and Ripley. That's good. Give them another young blood or whatever.
See, that would have been cool because they started to do Finn, AJ, and Liv.
right.
Kind of like starting this
Little
and if they would have
trio.
started like a little like Bullet Club type of faction with them,
Right.
you
With
know what
them
I'm
too-
saying?
right, exactly.
Because like I don't know, we'll get to Liv Morgan here in a second, but I think she needs a little edge
Tour. Yeah.
to her, you know, little
Yeah.
bit
Exactly.
more coolness
Right.
to
Yes.
her, and I think if by associating with like those guys who are cool,
It was
I mean,
giving her
Right.
that though. It was.
giving her that.
It was giving nice.
So it would have been a nice. That would have been probably a better faction than what Judgment Day ever
Right.
would have been.
And you
But
could
I
have
just
still
feel
kept
like
Edge
big
there
time.
instead of being in panic mode when Cody got hurt. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
we need another face. And perfect time was to have Seth
Yeah.
Rollins just do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He had that great promo. Just let him be a good guy.
Yeah.
He could face Roman and do whatever and bring when Cody comes back, put him back to heel. Like,
Yeah.
don't screw up this Edge thing because you had something going there.
Really.
So
really
speaking of
did.
Edge, they had these vignettes
Yeah.
come out, and you know, initially everyone's like, "Oh, it's if you guys."
Yeah,
It was
I
the same
agree.
Bray
Yeah,
Wyatt,
like,
but
oh,
I'm like,
Bray Wyatt. But then when you start
Mhm.
looking at it, you see
Dissecting.
Latino,
Hardy
there's a
Boys.
little Latino heat, little
The Hardy
Latino
Boys
heat.
love,
The Hardy Boys.
Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, now they
Flannel.
got a new one, and it's
Cactus Jackson's
Mick
flannel.
Foley's flannel on fire.
Oh
which
yeah,
you
that's
remember.
Edge for sure.
Yeah, John Cena stuff,
Right.
RKO. You know, they rated RKO together.
Yeah.
So, and then you can actually pretty much
Never
see
see the
him like,
silhouette
walking
of him, yeah.
upstairs,
But
see his silhouette.
The issue with that is that why would you go more darkness with him, like as if he wasn't dark already with Judgment Day in the
Yeah.
first place? Like he was making that turn with
Mhm.
them, and that was the whole purpose of him.
Well, some of the
having
rumors are the new Brood.
that. Oh
Yeah.
He's
Well, look,
going
so-
back to his roots.
But he needs someone with him then.
yeah.
Gangrel's available.
No, actually, I think he's all elite.
Oh really?
I think
Oh,
he is.
Gangrel, he was. Yeah,
Well, he showed up. I don't know if he signed.
No,
though.
I think
Or
he
did
actually
just
signed. I think
Okay.
they did announce it because I followed them on social
Okay,
media.
yeah.
And when he signed, like a week later, like a couple days later,
Came out with an Hardy
Oh,
Boys,
he'll be
so
gone in a year.
I'll give it 6 months.
He won't be on TV.
Yeah,
for
6 months. 6
And if it's not Edge, it would blindside everybody that it's not him because it's obviously him,
Right.
unless it's some sort of 2K DLC pack,
Gotcha.
Oh,
like
jeez.
commercial, basically, which it could end up being. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, download this and you get all these like Edge versions or something. The Brood
Which I
Edge,
could
you
care
get
less.
everything.
Yeah.
Right? Who cares? They're making it maybe bigger than it needs
Do you get
to
the
be,
Edge and Lita version?
but even there you go, the rated R superstar, that one. But yeah, anyway, so if it is just like if it is a comeback, it's like too soon.
Big
He
time.
just
Yeah.
got his ass kicked
yeah.
a month ago, and then you're building up like with vignettes.
Yeah, but everyone's
that's-
getting hurt. Owens is hurt now too, and it's like they have no
Mhm.
bodies.
Everyone's going
Yeah.
down. Hurting season right now to be like, all right, what are we gonna do next? What's next in the timeline for us to jumpstart? Like,
Did
this
you want to get into Liv now, or
I'm surprised they haven't
No,
brought
let's-
Charlotte back.
So
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be back, and then Bailey has been at the Performance Center getting ready for her return too.
Months.
So after a year,
365 days?
It's been a year.
Thank you. She's been teasing it for a good minute now.
So yeah, I'm good. I'm good with them coming back for sure. But so one last thing with Judgment Day. So they're alluding to Dominic Mysterio,
right?
which I just think is lame.
right.
So I don't know. I honestly, Dominic Mysterio just ain't really.
They
never
need to
really
get
cut it for me
Dom
at all.
away
He's
from
not-
his dad, but it's
I get it. I get where they're trying to lead him off to and say, hey, you're gonna go on your own now
Yeah.
and do your thing. But it's he's not ready for the big leagues like
Yeah.
this like everyone else. He needs to step down to the NXT a little bit more and
Mhm.
go off by himself there, and then wrestle
Yeah.
with the rest of the crew there, and then build himself up, solo dolo, and then head
Yeah.
back to the mainstream.
WWE style though is to have Ray turn on Dominic and have him join Judgment Day.
But that would not be a. That'd be
great,
That'd be
Well,
very
here's the thing,
interesting.
though. Ray has never been a heel in
No,
WWE.
that's
No,
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
It's
never.
like John Cena. Like they will not do it.
So
Yes.
he gets too many kids.
I could hear him now
Right.
in his promo saying he's been held back all these years because he hasn't been able to be like himself. Or
Wouldn't
whatever.
that sound so good for him to say?
Oh, hi, Ken.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control, if you can take it.
Ah, yes, that means it's time to play the game. Best of, worst of, right here. Let me tell you something, brother, on 21.6 The Net. Tonight, best of, worst of, physiques.
Come on, Ken. Give me something harder.
The best of, worst of, physique. So give me the top 3 physiques, best of all time,
Top 3 best of all time.
and the worst 3 of all time.
Bastion Booger.
I'm
gonna go
as the best, as the
Worst.
best.
Has the worst physique.
Well, I don't know. The 3 best
Yeah.
from my perspective,
Yeah.
here is going to be, I don't know, Trish Stratus,
Stacy
Keebler.
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 Tori Wilson.
and the 3 worst. I don't know.
All of them.
Bertha Faye.
Insert Tom's 3 best would probably be my 3 worst. I don't know. So they just had like the pose down with Bobby Lashley, obviously, and Austin Theory. So look, big guys. In
terms of muscular.
It's
Lashley would, yeah.
Lashley's up there.
You had Luger, the narcissist.
Yep.
Years that was.
But even going back further than that, like the Warlord, like there was some massive
Orndorff
guys.
and
Mhm.
oh, the 80s, yeah, where there was
Yeah,
all
where everyone was
steroids
all
and
steroided up.
the
Everyone was,
Warrior.
There's no steroids involved in this.
I mean, ultimately, come on.
All right, Vince.
Ravishing
Hogan,
Rick
Hogan,
Rude.
he all natural.
Sure.
All
24
natural.
inch pythons,
Hey,
all
this-
natural.
All
Hey,
natural.
vitamins and prayers and those muscles. That's
That's
it.
Yeah, you
it.
got vitamins.
Python.
All right, who are your 3 best?
My 3 best.
Yeah.
Or, that time you go
All
ahead.
right, Tom, your 3 best.
Bret Hart, and Bret Hart.
Bret, Owen, Benoit. No. So no, like for me, like wrestler, like body action figure kind of stuff. I mean, Lashley's got to be up there.
Sure.
Oh, Big Papa Pump was just freaky.
He was huge.
That he had a muscle on top of a muscle.
That's Big Papa Pump, or are you talking about Scott, like Rick Steiner, or not Scott Steiner? Be when he was Steiner. Like
No,
I think there's a
both.
difference.
Yeah,
in both
no,
bodies.
Oh, man.
when he is Big Papa Pump.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So see, Big Papa Pump, he actually would fall in one of my 3 worst.
Well, that's what I'm
because
saying.
of how
It was that weirdness.
It was like, yeah.
It was
Anyways,
too
I'm
muscular
sorry.
kind of
Go
stuff.
ahead. I'm still thinking of my best.
Well, let's look at my action.
That's okay.
I mean, crap. Who else was there? I mean, Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
Sure.
Like
Yeah,
when you look at the 80s,
back in the day.
yeah, that guy was ripped, and then once he got off the steroids, I was like, damn.
The vitamins.
So there's so many different wrestlers and so many different styles, but I'll keep it like in evolution with Triple H, Batista, and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
SG3, who you going
Not
with?
Ric Flair. Ric
Not
Flair,
Ric Flair,
would be
not,
on
you
the-
know, like the saggy man.
Ric Flair would be always one of the worst.
Back in the early 80s, he looked good. SG3, what'd you
in
go
the
with?
70s.
For
Best
me,
3.
Best 3. Dang, you put me right here on the spot. I'll
Sable?
probably say, but well, for women, let's go woman. Yeah, I'm gonna go Trish Stratus. Yeah.
Yep.
Tori Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go Sable too.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then for men, I'm gonna go Batista. I'm gonna go. You know what? Even John Cena
Mm-hmm.
and Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Tony the Kid.
All right.
Oh, best 3.
Yep,
Best 3.
Best 3.
All right, so we're going women. I'm gonna have to go right now. Rhea Ripley. I'll go Rhea Ripley.
Course,
She's solid.
of
She's
course.
solid. Back then, I definitely would go Lita. That was my top. and then even before that,
Are you on top or is she on top?
No, no.
hey.
whatever she likes. At this time right now, whatever she likes. It really
He
don't
ain't
matter.
kicking out of that.
We could do a spinneroonie for all I care.
Yeah.
What's it called? And then my third one would be Sable that as well.
Yeah.
And then
So today's women wrestlers though, like for real, Rhea Ripley for sure,
Yeah.
Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair,
We talk about Bailey.
Jade. No, I mean
actually,
like
Bianca does have.
yeah.
yeah.
You talk about sexy or whatever you like,
True.
but like actual like
Physique.
muscular
Oh,
fit
okay,
women.
okay.
Physique.
Though like those women they've changed
Yeah, big time.
the
Yeah.
perception. I mean, but then I guess you can go back to like jazz and stuff like that. Like there
right.
was some China.
Victoria,
China.
Victoria was really
Beth
solid
Phoenix
too.
was
Beth
huge.
Phoenix.
Oh yeah, big time.
You know what though, China. May she rest in peace, firstly. Secondly, though, I feel like she was kind of juiced.
She
should-
was because she was a
Yeah.
bodybuilder. Yeah, in the beginning before she.
I was trying to be nice, man. Trying to be nice.
Did you see that Playboy spread?
Her name wasn't
Yes.
her name
Yeah.
wasn't China. It was actually made in China. Was
Yeah.
her full name.
That's
With
it.
an I instead of a Y. All
All
right.
right.
Man, China.
Tony the Kid, your top three
So,
guys. then.
For three guys, I would definitely have to say Austin's one. Like it wasn't like too big and bold or whatever in a sense.
Yeah.
It was more like I'm a wrestler. I'm in here to wrestle.
Yeah.
That's one. The other one would actually be Chris Masters. Like for him to actually
Chris
be on,
Masters, yeah.
for him to be on something, like he was actually, you could tell he really defined himself in the mirror. Like we're gonna make this equal. So that's one, or the second one, and then the third one I would have to say, actually Randy Orton when he first started
Right,
off with.
sure.
I think definitely at that time, like he
Yeah,
was pretty
yeah.
solid and angelic at that point
Yeah.
too as well.
All right. Worst three?
Well, like I don't want to give it just to the fat
I got an
guys,
honorable
you know,
mention
but-
though for a woman though.
Sure.
Why are you laughing? Miss Elizabeth.
I mean, she's beautiful.
You're
I don't know about
that
any sort of
physique though. Still, it was.
yeah.
And Sonny.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
Sunny
Sunny
Sunny.
back in the day.
It's sunny
Not-
days.
Not sunny
People
these
say-
days, though.
Not Sunny
no,
Days.
not the last time we saw her
No.
in media. No.
No,
Last
but
time
Sonny
we saw her in
back
the
then, like
media,
when
she
she
was
started the
about
whole diva stuff.
For the right price, you can see Sunny's physique today.
Yeah.
Bottle of Jack.
You just got to enter in some payment information.
That's right.
They take
I-
it out.
OnlyFans though. OnlyFans.
Yeah, only fans can see
Yeah,
her.
that's right.
But yeah, worse. So I don't want to like, it's easy just to go to the fat
Yeah.
guys, right? Like
Right.
Bastion Booger is
Earthquake,
the worst.
Bastion Booger.
No, there is no one worse than Bastion Booger.
But,
Actually,
I mean,
there was.
I mean,
No,
so
I got a couple. I already got some,
Mantor?
I got some in my head right now. Let me go after Tim. I got
Yeah.
some in my head.
so I don't know. There guys like Jerry the King Lawler that were like wrestlers, but they never really had like the definition. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
maybe when
Trevor
he was
Murdoch.
younger, there's some guys out there that just they wrestled.
No, not.
Probably even
Don't do this to him. Come on,
Hey,
man.
That is messed up. Like,
That's
come
what-
on, man. Like,
Come on,
he
man.
was beautiful. He was. I mean, come on. He was a man,
It was a
man.
dream,
He's
man.
like, I don't
That-
believe in demons, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I don't
that
believe
is the
in
American
demons.
dream right there. You got the polka dot underwear, Kent?
He's like, I don't believe in working out. You know what I'm saying? I just wake up and bleed excellence. Okay, that's what
there you
happened.
go. But yeah, so you got those guys that were just like the Jerry the King Lawlers, the honky tonk mans, like the guys.
Greg
that-
Hammer
even
Valentine.
like
and,
Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
No definition, just
None.
kind of like man to man body out there, not really anything.
Albert.
I mean, at least like when you look now, when actually I was watching SummerSlam 2000, I'm like, man, some of these guys actually were kind of cut up back in the day.
Right.
I haven't seen them like that in 20 years or whatever,
Mhm.
but Jim the Anvil Neidhart,
Right.
people like that were just kind of stocky
The big-
guys, but not really a lot of
Had that
definition.
big goatee before it was cool.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Hey.
They did bring that
For
up.
sure, it's too easy to do the earthquake and the
Yeah.
you know
The Vaders.
typhoon and the Vader, like obviously, but
This
I mean,
is-
hey,
yes.
Tony the Kid, who you got? You said you got. a
Yeah,
few.
I got some. Brooklyn the Brawler. You got him on there.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Lombardo.
Gilbert. You gotta add Gilbert in
Oh,
there.
Gilbert.
You gotta add him in there. Got him in
For
there.
sure.
And then you got what's this little man, Leprechaun. What's that guy?
Hornswoggle?
Don't be
Hornswoggle.
hating
Hey,
on
hey,
Hornswoggle,
hey.
man.
Hey, he decided to be a wrestler. So once he
No.
joined Wrestling Crew, he's in this list. He has
He's
to be
right
put
in
out
there. He's
there.
got
How
it,
about
right?
James Ellsworth?
Oh,
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 yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. I totally forgot the no chin
Hey.
guy. Oh yeah. Oh my God. It's been a hot
No
minute.
chin skinny guy.
Yeah, he was
he's the
second.
first Mrs. Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Or that too. You could put
Santina Morella.
you can put Chris Jericho now compared to what
He
before.
airbrushes his six
Yeah,
pack.
he got
Who you got, SG3?
300.
So if it was me, I know I'm not always a popular guy when I give my picks, but I'm gonna go Mr. Perfect because he wasn't like a muscular guy. You know,
No.
if you look at him, like he wasn't.
But,
He had nice shoulders,
Right.
but like
That's it.
everything else
Yeah.
was just like okay, cool. You worked
Yep.
with that. I'll go for somebody else. I'll go. I'm trying to think of somebody else. James Ellsworth. I'll go with him. And even you know what? He's my boy. I literally root for him all the time. But Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh
oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does kind of. Yeah, he's. I get it.
I mean, he's a
I get
skinny
it.
guy.
He's a
I mean,
skinny
yes,
guy.
they give it to him for skinny guy, but
Yeah.
there- you know, it's more or less of if he's ripped or toned like a
Yeah.
Bruce Lee type of
Uh-huh.
standard in a sense. But
Yeah.
you know,
I got another one for you. Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I
That
mean,
is
he's
true.
Hey,
That is
Eddie
true.
Kingston. These guys are getting
Right.
body shamed right now because how they look.
yeah.
You know? But the other, I was just thinking like Mark Henry. Mark Henry, world's strongest man, but he's got no definition whatsoever. He's just a
No,
big
it was
ball.
just
He
just
was
solid.
just a
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
it's
semi-
like-
truck.
To me,
That's like all those
that's
guys
not
are
a
like
good
that.
physique.
Yes.
They're just like just round.
All right.
Yeah.
So my three best. I'm going with Lex Luger,
Mhm.
ravishing Rick Rude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
Because he's ravishing.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was He
Yeah.
was ravishing, right?
Yeah.
and of course you can't go without saying Goldberg. Goldberg.
No, fuck
Oh,
Goldberg.
geez.
Goldberg was
Mute
great.
his
Right?
mic.
No,
Nah.
that you talking about now Goldberg or then Goldberg?
Then Goldberg.
Any
Okay,
Goldberg.
okay.
Then go. All right.
No.
The three
no,
worst.
You're done.
The
That
three
was the
worst. The three worst for me.
Cut him off.
The three worst for me is the absolute funniest. You take a look at Andre Giant.
Yeah.
I mean, he was huge, but his arms were weird shaped.
They just-
Are you talking about
Yes.
Speedo
That's
Andre
weak
with the
looking.
big old perm?
Yeah.
I just
like-
don't matter. They were always
He
just
was
like,
just
flat
his
arms.
flat arms. His
His
physique
arms
was
look
weird.
like how my 9-year-old daughter draws people.
Right.
Yeah, just
yes.
with some fingers
All right.
on it.
Colin Delaney.
Who?
Alan Delaney.
Boy, see now I'm stretching.
Yeah,
I did-
you're
I-
really
Mr.
stretching that rubber
I
band.
did-
Hold on, wait, I'm trying.
I did my research, right?
Mhm.
Colin Delaney. He'll think of it here quick. And
Okay.
and the absolute worst for like a big card, JBL.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
JBL
yes.
is
Yeah.
just nothing. You
That-
just
He's
like
a wrestling
True.
god, though, man.
Even when
I
even
get
when
it,
he was
but
an
it's
APA,
horrible.
he wasn't
Yeah.
that. He wasn't
Horrible.
all that physique.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
horrible.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So I try not to just pick the fat guys either. You know, you're just
Yeah.
like that's easy.
All right,
it's
no.
easy to do.
Ones
Put
that
on
don't have an
Bastion Booger right
excuse.
now on the screen.
Bastion did
There's nothing worse than looking at
he
that guy.
actually was I think number 30 of the top 30 worst. I mean, he was
He
right
was
up.
number 30.
Yeah, he was up there.
He wasn't one.
No, he wasn't.
Who was number
Who
one
was
in
number
that
one
list?
in
I'm
that
confused. I'm concerned.
Let me look.
intrigued now.
Let me
Yeah,
look.
I
Let me
know.
look.
Sad to
Let me
say,
look
but
it back up. Who
Even
it was.
Sting afterwards too. Like after he kind of laid off.
Sting now, yeah, where he's always rustling a t-shirt now.
He knows. He's like, yeah, I'm about to have this wiggle.
Got the
I'm like,
saggy
no.
man boobs.
So while Kent looks that up, I said we'll talk about Liv. So Liv Morgan becoming women's champion. I mean, that's like obviously was a fan favorite pick, kind of an underdog type of pick.
Yes.
The rumor is that she's getting huge pops now and that she's
Selling
selling
lots
lots
of
of shirts,
merchandise, yeah.
merchandise.
As she should.
But she's got the Ronda rematch coming up at SummerSlam, and like
Keep it, man.
I thought for sure I thought she was gonna be the one who didn't successfully cash in because
Yeah.
she was getting her ankle twisted off or whatever. I'm like, oh, she's gonna lose her. I was like, oh my god,
Right,
I can't
right.
believe it. I just can't see them having Ronda lose to her
Twice.
and not like that. I think the only way she retains is if there's interference from Charlotte Flair or Bailey or someone comes out and like messes up the match.
True. I think
So I can't see her beating her. That being said, she does have pins over Rhea Ripley. She has pins over Sasha Banks. She's beat Ronda
They've been
Rousey.
putting her over a lot this
Yeah,
year.
she Alexa Bliss. She's pinned all of like a lot of the top talent.
I don't think
And-
intentionally though
That's
either.
it.
I think it's just more or less by accident. Once they do, they're realizing that the fans are actually giving her a
Yeah.
lot of pop.
Well, they tried giving it to her earlier in the year and they realized she wasn't ready. And I
Mhm.
still don't think she's ready.
Mhm.
I mean, they kind of teased with her and Alexa being a tag
Yeah.
team.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that would have been better for her right now in a career move of help
If
her
you especially
develop.
wanted to build up that particular like team wise in a
Right.
sense, like
Sure.
the titles for the women's and stuff like that, build something up there to make it seem meaningful for the championships. You have somebody there that the team wise that's going to make some shows.
They would have
So
been a
it'd be good.
nice move
Compliment.
if they're gonna
Yeah.
like keep the championships around. But
Right.
I feel like they decided they ain't bringing them back, and why have these women be a tag team?
Yeah.
There's not really anything for them to wrestle for.
I think at this point, though, kind of going based off of what you said, I think maybe they are going to let Ronda win, especially after what happened this past weekend between Liv
and Natalia at the house show.
Because Natalia was she was furious.
pissed.
Yeah, she was furious.
Did you see what she said? She said, "Oh, I said thank you," and then I wrote out.
She didn't. No, thank you. She don't go like this to somebody.
Exactly. She got pinned and got like that.
Like, you know, like with Natalia too. Like she's always been professional. Like what's best for business.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's interesting. I wonder what happened.
And
in those
something
few seconds.
set her off during that match. Well, we didn't see the whole match.
Yeah.
I have a gut feeling it had to do with that. I don't know if she did like a DDT or she do her special move. Like it seemed like her like the way Liv grabbed her face and slammed it against the mat. I think probably would set her off. Like, man, you could have broke my nose type of scenario. Like you didn't grab me correctly. Right. Like, be careful. Like you're just there.
So the worst absolute is number 2 worst is Naked Midian.
Naked Midian. Okay.
Number 2 worst.
Number 1 is Clothed Midian.
Yeah, Funaki.
Wow.
Funaki.
Bogus.
I thought it was Big Dick Johnson.
Like that.
Yeah, he was in there, but
did you say Big Dick Johnson?
Big Dick Johnson. You forget him.
He was in the top 10.
You forgot about Big Dick Johnson?
He was in the top 10.
He was part of the DX era.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He was like one of the producers. He come out like in a white Speedo almost and a bow tie and just flails.
That was a little G-string guy. Yeah. Again, looks like me getting up in the morning. So the question I have for you guys is
that's what he's saying.
With all this stuff, all these people kind of stepping out and going after each other. Is it because the warden is gone, right? So Vince is stepped down, is gone. Now is everybody trying to, say, oh, well, guess what? Now I got to make my own mark or whatever. Trying to prove to the new boss. I don't know.
Well, CM Punk said it 10 years ago who was going to be in charge at this point, and he nailed it right on the head with Triple H and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I really don't. I mean, you see the success of how they did NXT, and then if Steph really was behind the whole women revolution type of thing, that was a successful jumpstart.
All right.
NXT was a success in the sense right before he stepped away and Vince started kind of getting more control of it. So this was the ideal slate of giving it these two guys and letting them run the reins. Maybe Shane being in the mix and just saying, hey, let's try this, let's try that, being the crazy thinker guy and then go from there. Mm-hmm. But at least at this way, you have 3 of your children right there that love the business and want something to succeed out of it and has done nothing but try passionately do something better. Yeah. It's more or less of, are these other wrestlers going to be that receptive to the information they're receiving? NXT wrestlers were taking it to Triple H's to the heart and they became successful off of that. Yeah. It's just these newer guys or the guys want to be making a name for themselves and then be their own person is where you kind of get the disconnect and how they're going to handle that. That's the thing.
I don't think Vince is really gone. No, I mean, he's not.
Well, that's
exactly. Creative control. He still owns it. So
he got stuff and Hunter.
Pretty ballsy, right? He gets the initial allegations, and then he shows his face on SmackDown and shows his face on Raw like immediately
and
after.
UFC.
Right. And UFC. So here comes the guy that's pretty recluse, right? And especially in the past years, as he came out for WrestleMania, but he normally would. And then the word is that when he went back to Gorilla after SmackDown, after all he did was just go out there and say, hey, this is SmackDown and here now forever
together.
But then he goes in the back and he says, fuck him.
Yeah. Like, that's his mental state right now. In his brain, he's like, I'm untouchable. Anybody gonna mess with me? Type of thing.
He's won so many lawsuits against the government and stuff. Yeah, and it's like he's bought his competition. Like he believes he's God.
Exactly.
I mean, look, remember there was an interview with Triple H where he said that USA sent them like a letter of what they couldn't say,
right.
And that's when DX did the presidential speech, and he was like, "Dude, Vince came up with the idea. We're like, all right, dude, let's run with it. Let's just go." And you have, of course, like the controversial team during that time just go up and it's like, all right, cool, we're gonna say shit, we're gonna say fuck, we're gonna say everything.
That's true.
And the network was mad, but they weren't mad because we got so many reviews, so many views, so many
ratings spiked up. But then what happened is once he went public with the stock, that's where that hurt.
It did because that's when he started. You could start saying that he started to get reclusive with all his stuff. Like, let's not do this, let's not do that too much, or whatever case to be. And that you could tell he did that for a reason because he didn't want anything to happen to the baby in a sense.
So him taking a step back, Kent, or whatever is going to happen with him, is my feeling is it's going to actually be better for WWE, because especially a lot of that NXT talent that left.
Right.
They left because of the changes to NXT. Well, the changes to NXT happened under Vince, not under Triple H. So if you put Triple H in charge, they're going to be like, okay, the guy we want to work for is back.
Well, that and you got Johnny Ace out, Laurinaitis, and
So a lot of the
talent don't like him at all, and
especially John Laurinaitis for some
There you
reason.
go.
and now
people
the
did
next
not
one
like
is
I don't like how he talks.
They gotta get rid of
I don't even know him. I
Khan
don't like
and-
him.
Well, supposedly
People's power.
the rumor was that supposedly the rumor was that The Rock was supposed to take over
Right.
with Khan and I think Khan's sister.
yeah, because him and Khan were tight, like childhood friends kind of thing. And that's why I kept saying, like, I think Vince has been setting up for a sale to The Rock for the
like
last
he
year
did
with
with
everything.
like he did with NXL.
Well, yeah, the
They're
XFL.
foreshadowing it on Young Rock. Ask
Yeah.
Tom.
Yes,
that,
they were foreshadowing on Young Rock. Have you watched Young Rock at all? And
No,
Peacock,
not the
NBC?
second season. I gotta get
Especially the
started.
second season. They are foreshadowing that The Rock is going to take over.
Oh, shit, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. I'm
Yeah,
with
it
that
is.
too. But and especially him being smart and stuff like, all right, Triple H, come on, mom. Me and
Right.
you are best friends in the sense like we went in the scare circle. We started this off after Stone Cold left and did his thing. Me and you came together and we said, let's make this happen.
Because
and
like
stuff.
they even showed like how much Rock's family, his grandma, mother, they were very close with Vince.
That's
And it's like this is full circle where now The Rock is
Prodigal
going to bail him
son.
out.
You got to
Yes,
check
yes.
the box, Kent. We mentioned The Rock, I think, every episode.
We have.
The Rock is not
And
even
Jericho.
a wrestler.
And Jericho.
Really?
And Jericho.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Rock, he's
solid. I mean,
he's my all-time
He's in the best
favorite.
shape now. Can we put him as best bod right now?
Yeah.
What do you call
You know,
that?
young Rocky was a little pudgy. Now though, the
Facts.
brother's like
Pretty wild.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
Chiseled
for
up.
sure.
yeah, I agree.
See, but I think Vince couldn't just retire. Nobody would accept that.
No.
Right? I mean, he's paid out millions of dollars to these ladies already. So what are you going after?
More than we paid.
Man, what are you going
WCW.
after?
Right.
But my problem with that too
You
is
see what I'm
I
saying?
was thinking in my head is like maybe is that also too the reason why you started releasing a lot of your talent in the sense of letting them go because supposedly you didn't have the funds or whatever case it be or whatever. Like, is it that particular reason? Because let's say if you did keep some of those, and if now that the reign's switching over, imagine what those type of scenarios would occur now.
So someone did the research from I guess when like 7.5 million or something like that was paid out in like the early 2000s, and they said who was released, and they're like laughable, like the people that were released. So I find it hard to
Gotcha.
believe, but like the people, obviously the anti-WWE people are like, oh, no wonder why you're releasing everybody, because you got to pay to keep these women's mouth closed, blah blah. But the actual problem isn't the fact that he would spend his own money. The problem was he was spending the company's money
And
So
giving them raises.
Vince McMahon, he's a billionaire,
Yeah.
right? So he's I don't know, I want, this is all speculation, right? But it's highly unlikely he was couldn't afford to pay the people the money he
Right.
paid them to, and right now there are allegations, right? So people are distancing themselves, whatever, but nothing has been proven, and I think that's why he laughs at it or whatever
Well, that's
his
what you-
situation
Have you
is.
seen
Just
like Jericho's response on it all this week? So Jericho even said like morally what he did was wrong. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did he do anything illegal? No.
not to this point
No,
that they can
exactly
prove
right.
anyways,
True.
right?
It's like
So,
Yeah, it's
and
like
I don't
we-
know, you'd be a fool if you thought that Vince McMahon wasn't having some side action
Right.
going on over
It's
there.
all like-
exactly. Come on, like he
How
put
many
it-
storylines did he not?
Yes, exactly. How many storylines did he really do that? Like we don't
Right.
really think in the back of my brain
Right.
cells, like, yeah, he's actually really doing it on the
Yeah.
side and behind the actual camera when the camera's off type of
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, definitely. We would definitely do that.
just waiting for the court to go against them with the whole Trish Stratus bark like a dog.
that too.
See what happens then.
Or his whole Candice Michelle theory, all that kind of
She
stuff.
was riding the horse.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So that's kinda-
So, but here's one of the things too. So, that maybe, the federal government or whoever wants to get involved in these types of situations, WrestleMania generated $206 million in the Arlington, Texas area this past WrestleMania, which is like a record amount of revenue
Wow.
that the area saw, including $25 million in tax revenue that one event.
The two-day event.
25 million over the course of the past 12 years that has generated $1 billion in revenue in the collective cities that WrestleMania participates in. So part of, the thinking with anybody who's getting in trouble about anything is when you got money to throw around or someone's got money to lose, then sometimes the things swing in a positive way in your favor.
Yeah.
So he's gotten off on a lot of different things over the years, facing charges from Congress and the government and all that stuff. And I'm sure right now he's thinking, what did I do? I paid some women to be quiet, so they wouldn't tell everybody that I was having an affair. Like,
the other theory too would be is in the sense with Dark Side of the Ring. If you guys ever watched that, like lot of like if you really connect some of those stories, for some odd reason his name kept dropping in, like it kind of diminished or went away in a sense. Like maybe is that the reason why you bought them and signed on with them to do some other projects and stuff to say, hey, let's not dig deep in all those scenarios. Let's have you go over here. Let's let you do this.
And Netflix now dropped the whole documentary that they're going to do on Vince.
Yeah, that too.
And it's just like, look at Netflix, what they show. Out of all things, this is what you're going to drop. This is like you're going to get the biggest ratings now.
It's okay because A&E will pick it up, or someone else they'll pick up where someone else left off. So it's not like it's not going to happen. Yeah. WWE Productions, they'll just do that. They'll do their own documentary
on Peacock,
and then on Peacock, and then he'll tell his own story how he wants you to hear it.
Yeah, that too.
And that's like one of the coolest interviews is when he was on Pat McAfee's show. Like I was actually shocked that was the real Vince.
Yeah, actually,
I was expecting him to be very
Mr.
McMahon, and very slow, soft spoken, but he was like, that was really
chit chat.
I feel like that's one of the biggest issues with, especially like when you look at social media, AEW versus WWE. Like everyone's like, oh, he's such a horrible person to work for, and blah blah blah. This stuff. I'm like, but hang on, are you talking about Mr. McMahon the character or Vince McMahon the person? Because none of us know Vince McMahon the person. You only know what he lets you know, and that's Mr. McMahon.
If you make him money, he loves you.
Character, whatever. So sometimes when they pull back that curtain a little bit, you don't really know what you're getting.
Well, you hear a lot of times these wrestlers, they always look at Vince as the father figure.
Sure.
You had Undertaker like that. Brett was like that for a while.
John Cena was
like that. The Hogan,
like they're all for a good minute.
Look, sometimes people just gotta look in the mirror. Like right now, Athena, right? She's got nothing but bad things to say. Ember Moon, nothing but bad things to say about WWE. Well, look, if I was like canned or released or whatever, I probably ain't gonna be like, oh, that was the greatest company to work for. It's gonna be their fault, not my fault, as most people would say, right? So you just got the, and you're working for someone else. Hey, if you go from McDonald's to Burger King, Burger King's double cheeseburger is probably your favorite now, and not McDonald's because you just got fired from McDonald's.
Whopper's the greatest invention of all time.
There you go. So a couple minutes left here, just real quick. So Street Profits and Usos turning into like that
was a great tag match.
Great tag
that was one
match.
Of the best tag matches.
They got there with a special referee coming up, SummerSlam. Maybe it's going to be R-Truth. Who knows who it's going to be? Maybe it's Dolph Ziggler.
Now, why are they calling him Clown Ass and not Ass Clown?
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes it
probably trademarked.
It's probably trademarked by Jericho.
Yeah. So that's an awesome rivalry right now. It looks like they're probably setting up for Montez to go solo, probably. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to say Usos is the best tag team in all of wrestling right now, and I don't care who likes FTR or any of these other guys. So that's my opinion. I think this
is the best.
I think it's been a great match at SummerSlam once again, which is why it was booked.
Yep, definitely. There they are.
And then obviously Roman versus Brock, last man standing, last time match, supposedly.
Well, we heard once in a lifetime match with The Rock and Cena, and that happened twice.
Yeah,
this is now.
So we'll see, barring injuries or whatever, and maybe barring the outcome of this Vince McMahon ordeal. But I'm not real excited for that match. Everyone is just going to be anticipating.
WrestleMania, who is it? Roman got hurt in that match, or whatever. WrestleMania.
I don't think anyone. I don't think people really care about that match. What they want to see is, will the Money in the Bank be cashed in?
Yes. Yeah,
and it's July 30th this year, not in August, where it used to be for SummerSlam. It's just kind of weird for me, where it's like 3 weeks earlier than usual.
Throws off your school schedule.
It does. Now my kids will start school the next Tuesday.
Right. So SummerSlam coming down to the last 2-3 minutes of the show. Who do you think wins Brock and Roman? And does Theory cash in? And who leaves the champion at SummerSlam?
Roman's hanging on to it.
I think Roman's going to keep it.
Yep.
I think
you're a Roman guy. Of course you're going to go for Roman.
I don't like Theory cashes in and then does.
I think he cashes it in, but then Roman's going to. There's another input on Roman's, godlike type of move. Like, ain't nobody going to come and get this. This is my type of thing. So that's going to just more put the stigma on that and make that even greater in a sense for the
And
story
maybe-
for himself.
And build it for WrestleMania with
Because if I'm not mistaken,
Cody
the
Rhodes.
big thing with WrestleMania would be actually, well, I don't know if this is the thing with The Rock and him
Right.
because of the everything that's been
Right.
happening, but I don't know.
Who leaves champion?
So for me, I look at upcoming pay-per-views after.
Mhm.
The big one after this one is in September, where they're in Glasgow or whatever, Drew McIntyre's hometown. I don't see Theory going against McIntyre for a
Right.
championship. I see more being Roman versus McIntyre
I
for
think
a championship.
Roman retains. Theory tries to cash in. Dolph Ziggler stops it from
Stops it.
happening. Then Dolph and Theory continue their feud for the U.S. Championship moving forward.
Well, does Ziggler stop it right before he cashes in, or does he cost him to cash?
Costs him. Rolls in, super kicks him.
Because he had it before,
Roman
like
pins
where
him.
like they try to cash in, like Albert Del Rio, whatever, many times. And
They're just
couldn't-
positioning Theory as championship caliber, not ready for that championship.
because
Not
they
to be
have like no
undisputed.
young talent right now.
That's true. That'll be good.
Which is a complete 180 from how I started this show, by the way.
is.
But as a wrestling fan, you can do that.
All right. So, guys, reject rundown here. Guys, you're going to be joining the 21 Net family. When are you airing? What's happening? Tell the fans what's going on.
So we're going to be airing on July 30th.
Yep.
Going to come into the studio, do a show. Time we don't know yet, but we'll figure something out.
There'll be Saturdays at some point. Stay
Some
tuned.
point, Yeah.
Facts.
That's it.
Basically, what we're going to do is talk about sports, wrestling, current events, so like movies, stuff like that. Just kind of really
What you guys have been doing?
Yeah, just chiming in a sense, we're just gonna dive into all like news, entertainment news, and stuff like that. What's going on, especially like this Vince stuff. We go in really in depth in conversations, and we kind of kick it and make it live in action for that way. People can kind of tune in and be excited for it. So
That's it. We're excited to have you be part of the family. The Reject Rundown. If you don't follow them now, follow, like, subscribe, everything out there on social media. Also, check out your favorite podcast platform right now to catch all of theirs. Or I think you guys, rejectrundown.com. Is that right?
yes,
Yep.
yes. Exactly.
So
You're right.
absolutely a great way to get in hold of them too. Tom, any last anything for the good of the
Yeah, 'cause
cause?
I know it's like we're wearing red, they're wearing black. Do I see a
Ooh.
future tag team
Ooh.
match coming
Hold
on?
on.
There you go.
Hold on.
That's good.
And it's
Listen.
Cat going to be our referee.
Listen,
Yeah.
Tim,
There you go.
Tim, we didn't hear about the chop. Any you guys
You
want to
wanna
lay
do
a chop?
You guys want to chop me?
Oh,
We finally have
we
black
could
guests
do
on
it
the show.
right
You
here
do it
as we
right
close
now?
it out.
Yes. You want to chop? I'll stand right behind you.
Oh, dale, wait.
Chop
You want to do a
Giant
chop?
slap or the
I-
Ric Flair chop?
Whatever you want to do. Oh,
Ric Flair
Tony the
chop.
Kid, gonna do it.
All right. Oh shit! All right, ready? I'm ready. 2, 3.
Oh. That was a good
That
one.
made me feel bad,
Can I
man.
go closer to the microphone?
Hey, no, you didn't have to. That was
So
good.
That
That
was
was a
good.
good
I
one.
Feel bad.
get some frustration.
Light
out.
him up.
I got
Hey,
frustration.
yes. We're our
Actually,
teammates.
you know
There
what?
you go.
Unfortunately, like, he's not the person I want to get the chop on.
Hey, I ain't taking no shot.
I saw red. I think that's what it was.
Oh,
I saw him.
thank you for taking off the watch.
Yeah.
Put your ring back on.
Yeah, put the diamond ring back on.
All right. Ready? I'm ready.
Oh.
It was my bad hand.
You're good.
He did the backhand
There
slap,
you
so
go.
we're
I think
good.
Cat
There we
wants
go.
to give me one now.
No.
Tom's a glutton for
I'll give you a hug.
Lay it in. He wants it.
That's it.
Oh,
Okay.
that was good.
All
That's
right.
Man.
Okay.
There it was.
And
Woof.
for me, our show, I got shirts for you guys.
Oh,
That's
thank,
it.
Thank you.
Of course, for all of us here at 21 Net, this has been, let me tell you something, brother, the absolute best show out there about sports entertainment. Or is it, I don't know, All-Star
It's
Wrestling?
whatever.
Whatever. It's just a hell of a time. All right, for all of us here,
Pro
be
wrestling,
good,
damn
folks. But more importantly, be good to each other.
You think you can tell us what to do?
Sorry about that.
Is that the right size?